You know what I mean? We're going to get everything started for y'all in a minute, so just go ahead and bear with us while we go ahead and run it through these. So, but you know where you at. All right, you are in at top of the top with King Phil, and we do have a special guest today. So if you see what we got going on the screen, y'all can see it's no games to be played right now. All right, y'all can see what's on the screen. I'm saying all that to say, we taking a different approach to what we're doing today. We're taking a different approach to what we're doing today. I can't even find my game on the phone either.
You want
That's
me to
crazy.
resign it?
Um, yeah, if you can, cause I can't. That's crazy. I can't even find this resign.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and run this back. You know what I mean? Rematch. All right, there we go. So y'all see what it is. All right. So we taking a different approach. Y'all see what it is. We playing a little chess today. All right, we playing a little chess. You know, pushing pawns, what I like to say. So my man Renzo, he's white, I'm black. Y'all know the rules. If y'all don't know the rules, we ain't going over the rules today. So before that auto abort kicks in, go ahead and make your move, Renzo. So we can go ahead and kick it off. All right. So just to give y'all a little history too, Lorenzo he's been on my hat on his chessboard for a while now. All right. He's I think the last time we've played, he's beaten me. So I'm saying all that to say, let's go ahead and throw us up here so they can see who's fighting.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
they can see who's fighting. I said all that to say, Lorenzo, he's no pushover. You know what I mean? I play people a lot of times and we just play a little chess, I call it. But I actually gotta, not to say that I don't have the thing when I play other people, but I just know that Lorenzo, he ain't gonna fall for none of my little tricks and trickeries. You know what I mean? I said all that to say that. But while we here, Renzo, can you please get the folks a little bit of something about yourself?
Um. So my name's Lorenzo Sanchez. Um. I grew up here in the Denver area. I don't know. Went to the University of Denver. Worked with
He didn't know he was gonna be on here talking at all. You know what I mean?
yeah.
First of all, so that's my advantage right there. I'm getting him off his square. You know what I mean?
Mm, I was a math teacher for a minute. I was really strong in math.
and you
Um.
and it's crazy. How many of your homies that you ran with at the time was good at math?
Um. Just one other, but he was undocumented, so he couldn't really make notes at the time.
Hmm. So,
Uh,
I mean, even before you continue too, because our topic today is, we've been touching on the school to prison pipeline all week. All right. And
okay.
our topic today is just that. So we are going to talk about that. And I want to talk about, the steps that you have taken to potentially have you let me ask you a personal question. Have you ever been to prison?
No.
Oh man, how did okay, so yeah, so I want to learn the steps that you took to stay off of that pipeline.
Yeah. So like to be honest, there have been many situations where I could have, you know, I just didn't. Um.
And
However,
that's crazy. Don't lose your train of thought because that's crazy because I hear a lot of the my homies who went to school and stuff and went to college and completed and shit like that like, man, I could have, but I didn't. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like explain that. What do you mean you could
Um.
have?
So like when I was at BU, I had a dance sponsorship. I remember I would still go out and party, do it in high school. And man, these parties would get crazy sometimes. But like I didn't let it phase me. I still kept, you know, going out there. Until I think one night one of my dudes got killed. And I was like, man, why am I out here? I got a full day scholarship. Um, so then after that, I realized is even if I'm not doing anything wrong, if I'm surrounding myself with people who potentially get me in this situation, and that's my fault too. So I learned, success is about position, and I learned to focus on positioning myself for success and surrounding myself with people who are going to get me there. So after that happened, I decided to separate myself from that environment. Like I stopped going to these parties. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I could potentially get killed, or even if not, like end up like as I was like 2 weeks before that night, I was at another party. Things got crazy. As I was leaving, I mean, it was just like 7 squad cars just wing, 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 as I was leaving the party.
And you saying all this is during your college time, right?
I was like a sophomore in college. Yeah. And I'm like, man, and then it was just a wake up call. Then I gotta get my shit together. And so then, yeah. So one is I stopped putting myself in positions where I could potentially end up in prison. That was number one.
Did that take away from you being able to be you? And it's your move too, so I don't want to hear no excuses about my time right now. Just so y'all know, he already gave me the excuse. I just woke up. You know what I mean? I just woke up. So if he lose, we know what to expect. All right.
Yeah, but if he win, you gotta be like when we just woke up.
All right. You said gotta look at both sides. All right. Hold on before we continue real fast. There's no disclaimer today. You know what I mean? We pushing pawns today, but at the same time, let me go ahead and push it out there because we are talking about some issues. All right. So you have entered the Make a Coach Move podcast with Top of the Top with King Phillip, where we're talking about the issues within the Black and Brown community. That's truly that's an issue that a lot of people may not see as an issue, but it has become an issue and it has become embedded to the point where we don't even realize how much of a problem and an issue it is. Today we are talking about the school to prison pipeline. We don't have the data. We don't need the data to back up what we're going to say. We are the data that they need in order to make themselves the experts. Said all that to say, if we say anything that might strike a chord with you, all right, I'm gonna ask you to please reevaluate why what was said made you feel some kind of way. You don't have to come to Phillip. You don't have to come to my man Renzo like, oh, I'm gonna give them a piece of my mind. Oh, I can't wait to see them. Oh, I'm about to write them a hot ass letter. Nah, man, just sit down and reflect, process on what was said and why it made you feel that way. All right. If you have not done so already, we gonna go ahead and throw this on there. All right. Go ahead and check out the Make a Chess Move website, makeachessmove.org. All right. Go ahead and check out and also utilize that tool link that is on there. Utilize that tool link. Go to the donations tab, check out the tool link, and then, you know what I mean? Check out that tool link, and then, you know what I mean? Get that tool to y'all's friends. Get that tool links to y'all's on y'all social media pages, in y'all's emails, blah, blah, blah. All right. Also, check out the facebook.com/Macam303. If you haven't, everything is gonna be /Macam303. All right. The Instagram, that's on there. We got the Twitter, that's on there. We got the Pinterest. Yes, I said Pinterest. That's on there. But go ahead and do all that. All right. But like I was saying, today what we doing today is, as you can see, we got our chessboard set up. I got my challenger in here. We've been banging out already. Y'all see who I'm up against. I already gave him this little credit and stuff in the beginning, you know what I mean? Just to let him know he's no pushover. I don't want y'all to think that we just bringing in scrubs that I'm just push over on folks, you know what I mean? Because it's not that kind of party. All right, you're gonna be the first to tell you that. So this is where we at right here. You know what I mean? So Renzo, he was just telling us too that the situations that got him to start thinking, himself out of situations. He was in college when all that started. You know what I mean? Was you know, when it comes to police involvement, because that involved the police. All right,
Yeah,
one of your homies was killed and shit like that.
yeah.
You know, was any of that happening when you was at home in your own community, type of thing like that? You know what I mean?
What?
Like the behaviors that you was putting out there in college. Like, what was it about it in college that brought that kind of attention?
That
That
why I
that
would go over there to party?
I mean, not even just the parties, but you know, that brought the police, that brought the negative, that brought the violence. You know what I mean? That you wasn't
Oh,
experiencing when you were at home in
no,
your own community and stuff.
I guess like I want to go back to with the dude I grew up with. So like I would leave the university because like I didn't feel at home there, you know.
Mm,
So like I would go back home because man, I felt like isolated. In college. You see what I mean or no?
yeah, it's on you. And with that too, so were you getting in trouble with your homies that you came up with, that you grew up with, or was this, you know, were they going to the college parties with you?
No. I would go to them. Like I
Okay.
tried going, yeah, because I mean, I did go to a couple college parties. I didn't vibe with them. Um,
How'd you deal with all them white folks? And you said you was at DU, right?
yeah. So my first attempt was I did it. You know, I was deep on my games. Um, but then after all that stuff started happening, like things were just getting worse and worse and worse. You know, there was all this beef. Um, and so then it's like I'm gonna learn how to deal with the other white folks now. You know, going back home, like I'm not really gonna make that an option anymore. And it's a growing process. Like it really, like it pushed me to grow because I was just seeking my comfort zone. You know. Um,
Definitely. Do you think you know, with you stepping into at DU, you know what I mean? Again, for those who's just now stepping in, we talking about the school to prison pipeline. You know what I mean? My man Lorenzo, as y'all can see, it's a real life, you know what I mean, Mexican. You know what I mean? He got tattoos, got the Aztec tattoos, you know what I mean? He's representing for his people. All right? But at the same time, he has not been on that pipeline. He has not had the sting of those cold doors closing behind him. You know, so we're talking about the steps that he made to avoid being on that pipeline. Because I myself, you know, he's a Daniels Fund scholar. I am a Daniels Fund scholar as well. But I myself happen to step face first, you know, full fledged, just right onto that pipeline. You know what I mean? So we talking about the steps that he's taken to stay off of that pipeline, and you know, I'm gonna talk about steps that happened to me, and some of y'all may already know that landed me on that pipeline. While at the same time, we pushing pawns. You know what I mean? We getting a little chess in. All right, and at the same time too, if y'all have any questions, y'all want to tap in with us, anything like that, you know what I mean? Go ahead and tap in with us. You know, if there's a question that I ain't gonna answer, I'm just be like, shh, I don't want to answer that question. But 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna answer the question. You know what I mean? This is that conversation. This is that platform. Still, we just shifting it up, getting a little chess in this time. You know what I mean? Um, you know what? Let me go ahead and do this one time first.
my bad. I gotta get my cup of tea and coffee going. Man. I'm not gonna play some chess without no tea.
Hey, you know, I keep mine on me. You know what I mean? All right. Period. And
Um,
go ahead.
so going back to that, I'm like a math guy, right? Math and chess. So I know how to recognize patterns and be able to predict things based on previous behavior, the pattern. Like that's what you do with numbers. You figure out what happened and where it's going. And so I would go to, dudes I grew up with, and dudes I was hanging out with in high school. When I was already in college, I was already in the dorms. I was going back. And then I saw things just start to develop like that. To the point where someone got killed. And then that was the wake-up call where it's like, I need to go a different route. See what I mean? The patterns are there. The trajectory is there. You just got to be open. You got to have your eyes open.
I mean, you make it sound like you the only ones that got eyes. Like working eyes.
It's hard. Like a lot of people lie to themselves. It's right in front of them. They don't want to admit it. So one is you got to be honest with what you're seeing, and I wasn't seeing good things. I realized that I wasn't surrounding myself with people who were going to take me to the future. I was surrounding myself with people who were going to like hold me back, bring me down. So I just had to make those separations.
So with those separations being made, how did you lose? Did you lose a sense of yourself?
That's an interesting question. Like, if you would have asked me that question 10 years ago, I would have said yeah. You asked me that question 10 years later, after all this, I continue to grow. Here's my response. You can't be the person you want to become while holding on to the person you've been.
Say that one more time, please.
So you can't be the person you want to become while holding on to the person you've been. So at that time it was hard. I did feel like I was losing sense of myself. However, in retrospect, like I was growing. I was becoming someone new. I was becoming someone who I actually wanted to be. I wanted to have a life and a career and make money. I want to have the money to like travel and not worry about bills and like all that kind of stuff. And college isn't the route or the answer for anyone, but it was for me.
What you do that for?
And it goes back to that identity thing. Probably the hardest identity I had to get up was that of the boxer. I mean, I started boxing when I was 13. Like, to me, that was I loved it. After I experienced the concussions and I realized I was getting these patterns, I was in a to have like severe brain damage in my life. Like 22, 23 years old. And I realized boxing, sparring, fighting, getting hit in the head, get out. That was hard. Like, if I'm not a boxer, who am I?
So what was that answer?
Huh?
What was that answer?
I mean, you feel lost at first, but then it's like you become someone new. I began studying Chinese medicine to heal from my concussions. Like, I'm trying to learn something that can help me recover. My memory, my focus, my ability to hold information, everything. And then I became someone new. Like, now I know Chinese medicine. I know these healing methods. By giving up my old identity, I was able to create a new one. One that I'm much happier in, honestly.
Do you think that I mean, we coming back to, how old were you when you started looking at the Chinese medicines and that part? You know what I mean?
I think I was either 22 or 23 when I first got acupuncture for my brain injury. I had like nonstop headaches. And, I couldn't hold a conversation, pressure in my head, mood swings, all the severe percussion symptoms, and it weren't going away. So that's how I was in first experiencing myself. And then I think I was 24, 25 when I began studying. After a few years, like my mom got injured and helped her, and some other stuff, and I was like, "Oh, this stuff is amazing." And then it's like I need to learn this. So I was probably about 24, 25.
And so that's still a prime age too to fall within that school to prison pipeline as well. You know what I mean? Talk about us in terms of getting suspended. You ever been suspended?
From school?
Yeah, from school.
Oh, all the time.
So it's almost a myth just hearing that you've been suspended all the time and hearing, just hearing about the school to prison pipeline. You sound like a unicorn. You know what I mean? Like you were on that pipeline, but you didn't go to prison per se. You know what I mean?
I had a lot of support in terms of the adults at the school. The principals, administration, teachers. I was always talented and gifted in academic area. My test scores were high. Like my SAT math was a 720. My ACT math was a 31. So because
you said your ACT was a 31?
the math section.
Oh yeah.
The math section and the SAT was a 720, which is still up against percentile.
Yeah.
And so I was always, gifted in that area, academically, intellectually, and that's why I had support from the adults, from the teachers and administrators that perhaps in my period didn't have. I did get some breaks, because I had that potential. So, and I'm grateful for it, because I made those mistakes when I was young. I was fortunate that they didn't define me.
Okay. Give you a little minute to think, because I see I got you. I don't know. I'm put it out there to the people too. I don't know why people think I'm the best player in the world. All right, I don't know where they get that notion from or whatever. I play chess. I play a lot of chess. That does not mean I win at a lot of chess. I just play a lot of chess. And it was crazy. I was just saying the other day how I'm gonna take a break from chess because it seemed like, when you at the top, when I go to these events and I'm always winning, and then when one person beat me out of 15 games, it's that one win, you just hear the applause and everybody is happy that I lost. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn, I gotta lose in order to get some applause, and I couldn't get no high fives when I was winning. You know what I mean? Like, dang, that's cold. So that I'm always talking about taking a chess break, but I'm saying all that to say, like, I'm not the best at chess. I shouldn't be who people like aspire to beat. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be crazy, man. I can't explain it. But and giving y'all, Renzo, he's still going into a little bit of his story. And I'm interject while he's thinking, you know what I mean? With the school to prison pipeline, this conversation is my third time talking about it this week alone. All right. And I'm talking about it as much as I am right now because, number one, we're working with these youth. And right now we're hosting our workshops where the youth, they come in and they learn financial literacy. They come in, they learn how to play chess. And then they come in and we talk about the culture within the Black and brown community. All right. So with all that, let me go ahead and do this now while they're doing this.
I want to ask something too.
Yeah.
So I think sophomore year high school, I got suspended like 2 or 3 times for fighting. Those were right? Big fight, break out, middle of school, jump in. And that same year, I was like working with my math teacher. He was showing me, teaching me one-on-one, like pretty advanced mathematics. I mean, this is the type of math that you learn your second or third year in college if you're a math major. And then at the end of that school year, sophomore year, he was like, "Man, it's like, as smart as you are, like you could go to college and probably get like a bunch of scholarship money." And up until that point, I never even thought about that. Like it never even crossed my mind. It didn't. Like the idea wasn't there. And then junior year is when I started to turn things around. You know, I got like straight A's. So that I was like, I think I could really do this. So that was huge for me because then it got into my mind that, hey, I can do something else. I could do something that I probably never thought I could do. Yeah. So that's part of breaking that prison pipeline as well, you know. Yo, I can't hear.
Oh dang, I was just talking this whole time and nobody was gonna say nothing, huh? Nah, nah, but I was saying, even when it comes down to, you know, to, the culture of college, that whole experience is new to us. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So that even when we do get to that level and we experience something new, we shy away from it. And I'm gonna stop saying we, and that's my experience specifically. You know what I mean? There was a whole lot of, for example, and I always use this as an example, the fraternities. You know what I mean? I never pledged. Um, I never got the opportunity to, you know, I don't know, like legally gangbang, make gangbanging look good. You know what I mean? Like gangbang at a level that you didn't want to at high school. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's just it's that tribalism still too. But
Mm-hmm.
even that piece, me coming from the east side, you know what I mean? I never got quoted. I never got put on the gang. No, none of that. But all my family, they the Crips, and I'm east side to the core. My grandma, she put us in blue clothing just so that we were safe on this side of town. We never wore red. So saying that to say, I had got the Kappa Alpha Psi scholarship. I would, in order to get on, I was supposed to pledge Kappa, but you see, Kappa sign is this blood sign. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't, me being so closed minded at that time, I'm like, man, I ain't no blood. You ain't gonna catch me being seen throwing up no blood and all. I'm like, nah, now I'm seeing how closed minded I was thinking that. You know what I mean? It's just something new in terms of, again, we talking about the college, culture. You know what I mean? But I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it's like that. You know what I mean? But coming back to the school to prison pipeline, um, can I ask you a personal question, Rizzo?
Yeah, go for it.
Did you grow up with your mom and your dad?
My
My
mom,
mom. Where
not
was
my
your dad at?
dad. I did have a stepdad, but it was not a good relationship.
You said it wasn't a good relationship.
Not at all. And
And
only
where,
got worse and worse from there.
and where was your biological dad?
Hiding from the child support people?
Oh man. Oh man. All right. Was he in the States?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So he was in California for a minute, and then he moved out to Oregon. That's how I ended up over there too.
Okay. You know what? I'm asking those questions because I posed a question. Where did the school to prison pipeline originate? Like, cause I don't think it started with me. I think that, even looking at the behavior of it, it started with, I mean, even looking at it past my mom's, because my mom, she didn't have her dad around to show her what's what and stuff either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's still that gap. You know what I mean? There's still that family, that educational gap when it comes to culture in terms of family that's missing right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even my grandmother, she didn't have her dad like that. You know what I mean? So where did it start? If we looking at the school to prison pipeline.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Um, that fatherlessness thing, like no guidance, all that kind of, and absolutely. Uh, I also want to mention like the media as well. Like even just the other night, my brothers threw up the movie. There's a young black male couldn't find a job, and he didn't have like the sort of skills or job training. He's trying to get a job and doesn't know how to interview, doesn't know how to make these phone calls. So he ends up turning to you know illegal money. And one of it, and going back to the music and this movie, is like some people say this is a reflection of our reality. It also perpetuates it. It's putting these ideas into these young kids. Hey, if you can't get a job, man, there's another way to make money. Um, so it's both a reflection and a perpetuation, that leads to that prison pipeline. And it's like subliminal messaging that begins when they're like 7 years old, 8 years old. Um, I did notice, man, going back to what you were saying, like a lot of my friends who did have their fathers in their life, like the real biological, hardworking Mexican man, they didn't get in as much trouble as I did. They weren't as angry as I was. It's a reality. So I had my stepdad, but I mean, that shit probably
And you,
pissed me off even more.
and you think that's because they had their fathers in the picture.
Yeah, and their fathers like instilled, or at least attempted to instill hardworking values in them. Like my stepdad, that dude was just an alcoholic. He couldn't hold down a job. He lived off my mom. From my opinion, like he wasn't someone I respected at all. So it's not just having a father figure; it's like someone that you respect as well in your life.
And it's crazy that you know what I mean. Like, so coming from I'm not gonna, again, I'm gonna just speak for myself. Coming from my experience, um, I don't know if, like, when it came to respecting my mom's boyfriends and stuff like that at the time when I had, it was almost like whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we better not just get disrespectful with them. And listening to it, I'm like, um, I'm going into, with respect in the black culture um for the black stepdad or the black boyfriend. What did that look like versus what did the respect for the Mexican boyfriend? Was it an expectation?
Well, I think my experience is always different, and I've come to realize that just because I have that intellectual capability, right? But also I'm not a fighter. Like I started boxing when I was 13, and when I was 14, I was like, oh wow. So my stepdad wasn't a tough guy at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think he tried to pretend to be, you know. But man, I would have whooped his ass. At 15 years old, 16 years old, man, I would have whooped him. And he knew that. So it's a little bit different.
Okay. And that's when he came in.
No, he came in when I was 10. Like
Okay.
right after I was born in California. Bunch of stuff went down. And this my mom, she brought us out to Colorado. My dad stayed in Cali. He just never showed up.
Okay.
And there's a long story behind that.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but then he came in a few months later, and they were together ever since. Um, but as in, when I was little, I didn't know like whatever. But as I grew up, I was like, man, this dude's toxic.
I mean, so
I don't,
even looking at that, even looking at that to that extent, you know, with the relationship that you had with your stepdad and the anger that it built, you know what I mean? Are we the reason behind the school to prison pipeline existing?
what do you mean by we the reason?
Are our actions? I mean, because like looking at it, you had all the reason to be on it.
Mm-hmm.
You had all the. I mean, but you're not on it. You never stood on it. You know what I mean? So I'm coming back to our direct, you know, decision making. You know what I mean? Our embedded culture behaviors that we don't even realize is problematic. You know what I mean? For example, black women. I'm hearing a lot of black women are being told that they're aggressive when they speak. You know what I mean? Or just you know, talking out of turn in classes in school will get you in trouble. And a lot of the times it's not what we say, it's how we say it that'll get us into some shit. So
Yeah,
are we the direct
yeah,
reason?
yeah. I feel like we as people got a lot of growing to do for sure. Um, listening to some of your stuff, how black people refer to slavery a lot in the Latino community, kind of thing. We go back to colonialism, when the Spanish arrived, pretty much murdered and enslaved indigenous peoples. And what I have to say about that is it put our people on a trajectory of violence. Um, because go back 500 years, the Spanish arrived to Mexico. They murdered the men pretty much and raped the women. And this is now their children are growing up by women who have been traumatized. They're seeing their dads getting killed. And then what they know is violence. They don't know peace. They don't know love. And it gets passed down from generation to generation. My mom's dad was very abusive and alcoholic, didn't have economic opportunities, and then same thing with my dad. My dad, he grew up in rural Mexico. His father had died. His mom abandoned him when he was like 12 years old.
How come crack isn't as big in the Latino or the Mexican community than it is in the black community, you think?
Oh no, they do coke, like for
Mm.
real.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
so and it's like this generational like trauma, violence that gets passed down, and you can go back to slavery, you can go back to colonialism, but that's what we know. That's how we discipline our kids, spanking, you do that, or you get bark orders. You don't get taught loving in a loving, nurturing way. Slaves weren't raised in a loving, nurturing way by their slave masters. Um,
But
and
and at the same time we embedded that culture and
so
we
now it's us.
pass it on. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, coming back down to it, so we know what our culture isn't, or do we? I mean, I don't even think we do. I don't think
well,
we do. I don't think we don't. I don't know.
everything we created. And that's what I've been on these past 10 years. Is when I was young, all I knew was violence. That's how you saw racism. That's how you saw problems through violence. And I've taken these past 10 years to grow, like myself, through spiritual routes, through intellectual routes, through a number of different, through athletics, to grow so that I can become a person. Basically, I'm trying to become the person that I wish I could have been raised by. You know what I mean? And this is how we can change these cycles.
Yes, indeed. You got kids, Renzo?
I do not.
Okay, okay. Why not?
Um, couple of reasons. Growing up, I would just see dudes, girls getting, guys having kids before they can afford them. Girls, dudes end up in jail in and out. Girls are struggling, and at the end of the day, it's the kid who suffers. They're the ones inheriting all the baggage from their parents. And they're 18, 19, 15, 16 years old, and they're still not emotionally developed. And then they're passing down to their kids. Like, I saw this. I said, that's not going to be me. But one, before I have kids, I'm going to make sure I'm good emotionally, financially, career-wise, stability. I never had stability growing up. So one, I'm going to be stable. I'm going to be financially stable, emotionally stable before I have kids, because they're not going to inherit any of that from me, which means I got to work on myself. Second part is, you can't have a baby by yourself, right? So the next part is, I got to find someone who's like on the same level, that I'm vibing with, like, pretty much.
To that point, is that hard?
It is, man. It is, because of our community, man. Like, they're stuck. You know, it's like it's stuck. Like, it gets glorified. This negativity is glorified. It's like, man, I'm not like, I don't want my kids being raised by someone with that mentality.
Dude, you said I want my girl to cook. I want her to clean. Fuck some wop, shoe.
No, yeah, yeah, man. It's a lot because, yeah.
I mean, how do you, even to that extent too? Um, do you feel like you might end up having to settle, or you might just rock this thing out solo dolo until the wheels fall off, or what?
Nah, well, I like, so with my spiritual practice, I believe a lot in like attraction, law of attraction, vibration, and stuff. So I'm just trying to become the person who I want to be, and I'm pretty sure we'll like line up, and I believe that the universe or God or whatever will make these things happen, and I just gotta keep doing me, keep being me. Yeah. So
So what's your next plan?
um
I'm asking because with the work that everybody in the community is doing with these organizations, I just know that work is only going to go so far. I know the real fight is being fought in that political arena. You know what I mean? And there's not of us representing in that fight. There's not a lot of us who's really speaking for us in those
in
fights as well.
political arena.
Mm-hmm.
My route has always been through education, and so I worked as a teacher, and the idea was, I'm going to introduce our communities, these young people at a young age, things that are outside of our culture, things that I've come across that have benefited me a lot. I'm just going to introduce it and plant the seed. And if they choose to take that seed and water it, then that's them. And that's kind of been my approach, because I realized people got to do it for themselves. However, if you don't know what you don't know, sometimes it takes someone who looks like you and be like, look, this is what I've been through, and I can be here and be happy and be kind and be loving, and this is how I did it. You know, that's kind of been my approach. I'm thinking about the next generation, planting those seeds, because then they can become and grow up to be those politicians. Like, I'm not gonna be no politician. I don't want to be no politician, but like, they can be those business people. They can be those. And so my approach has been, I'm gonna start planting them seeds. If they're interested, man, I'm helping water it too. Um, so still on mute.
So if you were to have a solution, provide a solution on how to address the school to prison pipeline, how to interrupt that, how to just dismantle it,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your answer to that? What's your solution?
Um, I work with the youth. Thinking about chess, I'm thinking 7 months ahead. So I'm thinking prevention, right? To stop them from going on that line in the first place. And how do you do that? One, by, well, what works for me? Hope, opportunity, guidance. The big thing is opportunity. Um, do you have a way of living the life you truly want to live? And that's the other thing that I tell people, these kids, like, yeah, man, travel. I'm in India, I'm in Costa Rica. You can chill on the beach. I grew up like this. My parents were, from Mexico, immigrants. But look, this is a life I've lived. Man, it's a cool life. I got some gold chains. I got, like I've lived a good life, and I ain't sell drugs. I ain't did this. I ain't did that. I ain't. Um, I achieved it through my mind, through my hard work. And like we gotta be able to see that.
How do you get them to see that when you got the whole, like you said, it's hard when you got the waves moving and pushing that negativity, making that shit seem like it's cool, like that's the real vibe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? How do you get them to see exactly what you just said?
It's through example. It's absolutely 100% through example. I'm going to flip this stuff, man. Like I tell people some of the stuff I've been through, and they're like, "Man, and you look like you're doing good, man. You look like you're happy. Like you look like you're happy." I'm like, "Yeah, I meditate every day. I exercise, sleep good, and that's it." They see that, man. This guy is happy. He comes from where we come from. He looks like us. He's tatted and stuff, um, uh, similar background, and he's happy, and he's traveled, and he's well read, and he's studied, and he's whatever. But they see it, so they know it's possible. It can be a reality, and it's consistency. Being a teacher, I'm in the classroom with them every day for 9 months, so they see I can manage my emotions. Things don't get to me. I don't get angry easily. I'd rather be cool. And they don't just see it once, they see it day after day, week after week, month after month. Man, this dude is just living a life. What? I want that, you know? So it's being that example, and consistently being there too. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Um, I'm sitting up here thinking, with um, with Manual. So first of all, I graduated from Manual High School, um, at a time where Manual and the culture of being a Thunderbolt was at its all-time high. I believe was at its peak. But at the same time, I wasn't out there scoring 30s on math sections on the ACT. You know what I mean? I think I scored like a 13. You know what I mean? The second time, I think I scored a 15. And then the third time I took it, I think I scored a 13 again. You know what I mean? Saying all that to say, school, I wasn't the brightest, I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. You know what I mean? I found myself looking on papers a lot, cheating a lot. I found myself just doing what I had to do to make sure that I got by, that I made it to the next grade. Not looking at it from an educational stance, because I saw education at that time as, something that I didn't want to do. I had to do it, and my grandma made sure that I did it. I'm saying all that to say, having that stance on education, do you believe the stance that the children, that the youth have on education plays a role on them either being a part of that school to prison pipeline or not being a part of that pipeline? And again,
Yeah.
looking at it from, you know what I mean, your points. Was it a white man that came and was teaching you the advanced math, that, you know what I mean, or was it somebody who looked like you?
It,
You
it,
know.
it, it was a white man. Um, here, here's what I'm gonna say. Let me bring up some really good points. And as a school teacher, I noticed when students would act up, they would like be like, "Oh man, that school." It's when they couldn't do or they felt like they couldn't do it, especially being a math teacher. Dude, sometimes they walk into my class already giving up their extra up. They haven't even been in my class yet. And so it's when students feel like they can be successful, that's when they come in. When they feel like they can't be successful, then they're like, that's it for me, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that. And it's really like, it's to stay safe. And here's one, and how you said, about like you were just like an average student, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whole lot of people are average students. I went to BU, man. A whole lot of them were average. You know what they had? Resources. That's what they had. Tutors. They had opportunity, tutors, support systems, but they were average. That's what I realized. Like, I went to BU thinking, I'm like, man, these motherfuckers gonna be smart. Rich.
I mean, even to that extent though too. So, I had the resources in college. I had the access to tutors. I had all the access to what I needed to excel.
Not in college. Grade school.
Oh yeah.
That's where it starts.
Yeah. And we, yeah.
Because I think I read somewhere sometime California would look at reading scores of like fourth grade or third grade to determine how many prisons they're going to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's I mean, I had asked that question. Do you think the importance that we put on education plays a factor in the school to prison pipeline and how powerful it's moving now? Just looking at it from the stance, of, is it education that is something that we seek? Is it education that matters, or is it knowledge that we seek? How do we separate? Oh, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely both. So like, education can be an avenue through which you can build a career, you can make money, right? Support. It's not the only one. There are many different ways to do that, right? It's just one of them, and so we gotta acknowledge that part. For me, education was also a way to experience new things, come out to meet people from different backgrounds. And then the other part though is like when I was in college, one thing that led me to pursue my own spiritual development is I was not very happy. I was smart and I could go to classes and I could probably went to law school, medical school, all that stuff, business school, but I wasn't happy. I was angry. I was sad, depressed, angry. And it's like, man, what's the point? And then I would often look at some of these successful people, financially successful people. Like, man, they don't look happy. Including these rappers and these all these people, they do not look happy. I'm like, what's the point of having all that money? You're still gonna be miserable. And what changed, and then in business, like, man, I didn't want to be corrupt. Like, I didn't want to be taking advantage of people. I didn't want to be corrupt, man. Like, I want to support people. And I saw how money can corrupt people. So I was like, man, I gotta work on myself. And not to demonize money, believe me, at all. Not one point. It's us. It's not the money. It's you.
I was just saying, it's not the money, it's how the money make you move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes, indeed.
And so when I was in college, I was really fortunate to have the opportunity to go to India. Jonathan paid for the trip. We went to go study to the refugees in exile. And I was out there and opened my eyes to this whole new world. I grew up in America and I knew everything. It wasn't until I began to leave America I began to realize how little I actually knew. And we went to study the Tibetan refugees in exile, and there were these Tibetan monks walking around, and these people looked like the happiest dudes I'd ever met in my life. And I was like, man, but you ain't got no money, You ain't got no job. They're celibate. They never get married, never have kids. They never don't drink alcohol, don't smoke, nothing. The only thing they own are their robes and their sandals. How could you be happier than me? You don't have any of the stuff I got. It don't make no sense. Yeah. So I began to study their culture, learn from them. I'm like, man, I want to be happy like you.
He said, I'm laying pipe tonight.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a life-changing experience for me. And that happened through college, through education. I never would have done that if I would have, like, none of my friends have done that. None of the people I grew up have done that. And so it provided me the opportunity. However, you don't need college to do that, right? Sometimes you just need someone to be like, hey, let me show you the way. Let me show you how to book a plane ticket. And let's go to India and let's go chill out there for a month or 2 weeks. Let me show you something new. You know, so that's how it worked out for me.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope.
So that's why I spent the last 10 years like, man, I need to be working on myself. I saw how happy they were without money. I was like, man, I want to pay no first and then focus on building financial freedom for myself. So I don't want that money to have me moving in funny ways. You know?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes indeed. Yes indeed. Yes indeed. All right. I know your time about to run out, sure.
Oh,
you know what I mean? All right. Sure. I see I'm about to finish working on. But check it out, you know what I mean? So you know, my man Renzo's time getting ready to run out, and as soon as either his time run out or my time run out, you know, we're gonna cut it. All right. But or if he get a checkmate before then, or if I get a checkmate before then. But right now, I got him beat on time, so I can take my time when it comes to, you know what I mean, my thinking process right now. All right. But I ain't gonna play around with him. You know, I'm gonna stay on his head. You know. So even oh, that's all right. Okay. I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble there, sir. Sure. Get out your way. Oh boy, let me tell you. If I ain't know any better, I think you was trying to get me.
Why would I do that, Phil?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying, if I ain't know any better, I just think you was trying to get me just now. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to play a little chess whole time. That is all I'm trying to do. And look at you. He tried to backdoor me now. Goodness. All right, let me see. I got time. Time is something you don't have, but I got time.
No, I see your game plan, but you just start trying to do these questions.
All right, I don't want no trouble, bro. I don't want no trouble. Let me come back here. All right. Let me come back there. We're being extremely aggressive. Yeah. Yeah. I could take it with my queen. I could. Let me go ahead and do that. Just because you got 7 seconds. You know what I mean? I could have played with it. Let me see how I'm going to do. Okay. I'm looking for the checkmate right now. That's what I'm looking for. For sure. Yeah, I don't think we got a checkmate. I ain't gonna do it. Well, I ain't scared of you. Shoot, check. All right. Hey, Renzo, man, right on. I appreciate you tapping in with us this morning. I'm going to hit you on the bit, all right?
All right, sounds good.
All right, peace out.
Look.